But right now we have Alex on the line. Alex, how are you, sir?
Hey, bro. Yeah, well, I've been holding the last 5 minutes. I was
just saw it. Sorry.
Clip, so I want to get into that first. And the new developments with this police officer attacking the paramedic story. We need to make sure we can get all these news reporters and eyewitnesses on. If you go up to INFOWARRIOR.com and click through to the YouTube page itself, you can see now that the news crews have gone to eyewitnesses saying that the paramedics did not attack the police first. And the police keep saying, well, we think it's on our video cameras in our squad cars, but we're not releasing it right now. Kind of like the police said when they killed that guy at the subway station in Oakland. They said, oh, he was attacking us, and we defended ourselves and shot him. And then they grabbed all the video cameras that people were taping it with, all the camera phones, and said that the cameras all malfunctioned at the facility, showing the higher-ups are part of this lying, but somebody had been going by on a train beside them and had the train had stopped, and they videotaped the whole scene. He was sitting there submitting like a slave to the New World Order like we all do. He was put down, put in the handcuffs, executed, and then as his life was leaving his body, beat up by the cop for vampiric pleasure purposes. And that's literally what it is. It's about a cult of power tripping. We now know what happens. This ambulance had slow cars in front of it. They wouldn't get out of the way. The cops were going chasing some speeder or something. They're saying they went to something and handled it real quick. It wasn't a big deal. They drove up on the hind end of the guy. He couldn't go around. He couldn't ram the cars in front of him. Because cars stack up. This is what the news is reporting. And so they then went to quote whatever the call was and then went and chased the ambulance down at high speeds, catching up with it, and beat this poor guy up. But the incredible thing is the local news in the newest stories is going with the fact that it looks like the police have been caught lying as usual, but that's not the issue. If you go to INFOWARS.com and read the local news story we have posted, they spin it and say there was a fight. And 90% of the time when the police on video beat somebody up that isn't touching them, they always call it a scuffle or a fight. And they go, oh, the officer was fighting with a citizen. Now, when clearly a slave or citizen actually hits the cop first, it's called a deadly assault with a deadly weapon, his fist. But when they attack you, it's called a fight or a scuffle. They can be bashing your head in with blood pouring out. It's called a scuffle. And so the news tries to spin it. In fact, when we come back, I want to go over this. They try to spin it, saying an Oklahoma Highway Patrol officer and paramedic were caught on tape scuffling Sunday while a patient was being taken to the hospital. That's News 9. I mean, is that not spin? Oh, at the Nazi death camps, the Jews were caught scuffling, or in the Soviet Union, the Ukrainians were caught scuffling with the Soviets.
We'll be back after this. It's the Info Warrior.
Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at InfoWars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com, HomeGain.com. Check them out today.
Godspeed with devil's charm. The shit made get switchblades in every arm.
All right, we are back, and we're on the line with Alex Jones, and really just more news on this EMT beating. You know, if he had cowed down, and this was the guy who was tending to the woman inside the ambulance. He thinks this is finally over. We're going to go to the hospital. No, you're under arrest. You're under arrest. And because he stood up for himself and he said, no, there's a state law, I'm not going to be your slave, they didn't arrest him. They just tried to choke him out. And the guy literally has to try to put both of his hands around the guy's neck and still can't connect his fingers because this guy's a real man. You know, he's trying to save lives. He's not trying to take them, Alex.
Well, I mean, to describe it for those that haven't seen the video, the guy is standing with his back there, knowing they want to kill him, letting them shove him and choke him. And in fact, they know by choking you with one hand at first, that what that does is cause people to panic and fight. And so they're trying to make him fight so they can kill him. It's clear. And this is not police procedure. This is not what they're taught to do. And so the guy is sitting there as the choking goes on, and he knows they're just waiting, hands on guns, it's been reported, ready to kill, this is how they show off in the weight room and stuff when they're doing what they do. And it's just so horrible. But the craziest part is that there was another case in Oklahoma where they threw the kid off of the bridge and then tasered him. It was something like 50-something times and said that was normal. Mm-hmm. And then, his back was broken and everything, and the kid was just walking home from work at a restaurant where he worked. I mean, but the insane thing is the way this is described, the cops ran up at super high speed behind the ambulance. It was in traffic with its lights on. This is what the police are admitting now. And the ambulance couldn't get around them. And so the police car almost caused a wreck, according to witnesses, shot past them. And when they were done with that, they came back for him, and they started screaming at the driver. And then now they're saying, well, earlier he assaulted us. Just totally made up. And witnesses are saying that's not true. And then and then the other guy's in the back of the car, and he's been attending the lady, and they go after him because he starts yelling at him, saying, I'm going to keep giving her aid. But the insane thing is, I was driving down I-35, and there wasn't very heavy traffic south of Austin about 3 weeks ago, and I think the name of the town is Skirts or Shirts. It was a blue on blue where those new police cars. It was a Charger, Dodge Charger, where you can barely see it's a police car. And I'm in the slow lane because I don't like getting tickets. And I'm going with the flow of traffic. I'm going about 71 miles an hour. I got cruise control on. There's 2 lanes to the left of me. There's light traffic, and all of a sudden, with its lights on, there is a Charger going probably 100 miles an hour, flies up and slows down literally 2 feet from the back of my car. And I'm like, oh, my God. And my wife's like, oh, my children are like, oh. Because I'm like, I look back and I see just flying up on me. And then I think I'm getting pulled over. He just stays on me and then violently flies out in the other lane and shoots off. And then we see him pull some guy over. Who, by the way, wasn't speeding. He was about 20 cars up from us, about a half mile. Psychopathic. I was leaving one night at like midnight from work there at the office on 290, and there's 3 lanes right there where you get on to on the access road where you get on to the main 290, and I pull out in the slow lane. And there's no car coming. I don't even see lights. This cop car must have been going 100 again. He flies up behind me. And I couldn't tell it was a cop car because his lights weren't on. His cherries. He flies around me, and then it isn't enough. He shines like the side spotlight on the top lights in my face, and it looks like the window's down, but I can't really see. Just in an orgasm of insane thuggery. So this is happening to me. I don't need to just believe all these videos, and you guys keep making excuses about how you're acting. You are out of your minds. You're acting like 14-year-olds, that first start having testosterone flow through them heavy, beating up 10-year-olds. And I remember that happened to me, when the 14-year-olds were beating me up when I was 10, but the problem was I grew up. You guys, and they admit that over 30% of police are on heavy steroids. This is a big national story. It is mental illness. It is sickness. Anytime you start violating the Bill of Rights, the culture then degrades. And the sick part is the media is defending it, saying an Oklahoma highway patrolman and a paramedic were caught on tape scuffling Sunday while a patient was being taken to the hospital. There's no scuffling. The guy's going, hey, I'm doing my job, man. And they say, no, you're under arrest, and then start shoving him and choking him, and he doesn't. I mean, this is mind control. Now when they assault you, it's called a fight. Listen, Bermas, please continue taking calls, and I'll continue listening to
All
the
right.
show here. And but listen, I want witnesses and people on the show tomorrow and Sunday with this.